Welcome, people of the World Wide Web, and as my last video says, it was a movie review and it was one, but luckily Friday night I got to go see the Evil Dead Rising. So one of my colleagues at work, he did want me to go review this one, so Lee, this is kind of for you. Partly, not that I didn't want to go see it, I was intrigued. I've seen the original trilogy, I've seen the remake or the 2013 version. I cannot remember the 2013 for the life of me. I can remember bits of 1, 2 and 3. I'm not the biggest Evil Dead fan and not the biggest horror fan, so my knowledge and remembering stuff of it is very vague, so you will have to kind of bear with me on my review, takes that into consideration. I'm sure these avid, diehard Evil Dead fans will probably know a lot more than I do, but this is my review, so we'll get into it. Anybody who doesn't know the premise, actually, I'm going to put a spoiler warning up right here, right now. I'm going to cover bits that will kind of be included in. There's a lot that is already given away within the trailer, but I'm going to go straight into it. Okay, so anybody who doesn't know, and this is kind of a new story, it starts with the cabin scenes and then it recaps to a day earlier, and a day earlier is then set in a building. So it's only like the span of a day, so it's quite a compressed movie. It all kind of links in together and you have to wait and kind of to the end scene to realise how it links in. And that's the kind of thing, it kind of does the end of the film first, which is the cabin in the woods and stuff like this. It was kind of a little bit reminiscent of the earlier versions and stuff like this. Yeah, and then it goes back and you basically, it's the main character and she has 3 daughters. She lives in this building that's being teared down, and her sister, who's a groupie, she finds out she's pregnant, decides to come home to see him, and then everything goes to poo, basically. So there is an earthquake as the 3 daughters go out to get food. It causes a crack in the parking complex underneath their building, which the building complex used to be a bank. There's obviously a storage kind of unit in there, and that's where the book is, unless, obviously, as usual, the earthquake cracks conveniently makes a hole big enough for one of them to go down. One of them explores, finds a book, and then stupidly does exactly the right things you don't do to summon the evil presence which inhabits the mum, and then the mum goes basically on a rampage. I'm gonna try and keep some of the spoilers and stuff, because, as I said, unfortunately, I would say about 80% of the film and stuff that goes in is, or the main things that you need to know is in the trailer, which to me was a bit disappointing. There are a few twists and turns, but as soon as kind of one twist comes on, you kind of get an idea of how this could spiral out, and it kind of links up to other twists. There are a few things happen in between, which I think is with the earthquake and stuff, and it causes like certain stuff to move or something. And I don't want to say too much, but you kind of foreshadowing, like, I know that's going to happen, there's going to be something with later. There's a part with a girl, she's using the mum's scissors because mum's tattoo artist and kind of stylist and stuff. And there's stuff like this, it just seems very blatant to me, like you kind of know where that's going to come back and stuff. And maybe it's me, maybe I'm too more like hypersensitive on stuff, like I pick this stuff out. But I liked it when they threw a lot of stuff in there, and it was just the odd little bit that was linked back. Yeah, I'd say most people maybe not picking up, and maybe it's me. Interesting how they did it. They used a lot of blood in a lot of scenes in a lot of places, I say, and the whole kind of, I say, and I'm not going to go into details because, I say, there's a lot already within the trailer, and because there's so much within the trailer, if you've watched a trailer, I don't want to give any of the extra bits away, even though I will spoil little bits here and there, and obviously I've already put the spoiler warning up. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of good acting. I say, I can't, because it's been so long since we've had Evil Dead, and it obviously is the whole possession thing and stuff, and I get it. It seemed quite a lot very one-sided, and how the story progresses and stuff like that, it just is with any old demon. That it was just the realization there isn't really a lot they can do. There involves some agent recordings, and supposedly there is like a some talking on it, which is Bruce Campbell, which is, I didn't pick up on that out at all. But it's basically to homage that there is this evil, there's kind of like an evil presence that's locked away, and as soon as you unlock it, you can't stop it. But then I was kind of like, but it got locked away in the vault and stuff like that, so technically that wasn't true. But obviously you kind of listening to a set of records in between. There obviously is 4 records, you only listen to 3, which I'm quite interested in why we didn't listen to 4. Yeah, there's 4 of them, you only listen to 1, 2 and then 4. What could 3 have had on it that may have not? It was quite good. Some little bits like the scripture they mentioned, like there are 3 books of the dead, and it mentions this in the first disc, and I thought that was quite good, because obviously you have the original trilogy 1, 2 and 3, that's the first book, the remake in 2013, which is the second book, and then obviously this kind of new one, which is the third one. So it kind of makes the whole world canon, which is fair enough. I mean, it would kind of make sense, and maybe they are trying to build this. There was quite a lot of people in there, so there is still an interest in that for this. I just thought, I don't know, I found this in a very similar way that I found to Hellraiser. When you go back and watch some of the classic horror films, they are done in such a good way, and they are kind of pioneers of their time. It's so unique, and there is nothing out there, and they kind of put that fear in you a little bit. And that's how I found like his presence going through the forest, and it made it a lot more spookier. Now, when you kind of convert them over to modern day, in like the modern time, like when they remade Hellraiser and stuff, and even like, as I say, they've remade Evil Dead in this ones, they kind of try to use the same sort of dynamic, and I just don't think it works, because we're used to it now as an audience. Or if you're aware of the other Walking Deads and you've seen films, I mean, I've not seen a lot of horror films, but like the presence coming zooming in and that, I didn't find that scary at all. And I mean, looking at the trailer, there were bits I was like, well, I'm not saying like I'm a macho man, scared. I do get scared of stuff, it is, in the right climate, in the right environment. Even I've gone to see a scary film, even me now at my age, and have gone home, sat in the dark and gone, oh, is that a thing? Spooked yourself out. And I think for a movie to do that, it does it right, because that's what its whole point is. It's supposed to scare you, it's supposed to get your mind thinking. With this one, I didn't. I didn't come out. About 2/3, and when it was all the mum going on a rampage and that, I think there was about an hour into it. I think, or maybe once or twice, I checked my watch and I was like, this is a little boring. Which I'm saying, it's only like an hour and a half, and if you struggle to hold your attention, the end kind of fight scene-ish between the mum and the sister was quite cool. Obviously the younger actresses I should say, or I don't know how they might as lay. So the younger cast members, they did really, really well, taking account of the situation. The characters outside of the family, I didn't think the acting was that good. It was kind of, they were thrown in there for fodder a little bit, and stuff. Yeah, and it did have a story. It was all right. I say, I just felt it was missing elements and stuff. I feel like they could have upped it in such a different way, and I don't know how, and this is why it's really hard for me to explain this. So I know I'm running on, so I'm going to go with, like, I rate this film 6 out of 10. So it's definitely worth a watch. I may pick it up because I've got all the rest of the Evil Dead, so I probably will pick it up to rewatch it at a later date. But I think part of it is because they spoiled so much of it within the trailer. And I mean, because there are so many pivotal parts in, like, the first trailer that I saw, you watch the film and like, very early on, like, oh, they're putting a bathtub, oh, I know where this is going. Like, they've locked her out in the hallway, and then one of them goes to listen to this record, and I was just like, because it's so much of it has been spoiled, and I was just like, and I think that took away from a lot of it. And I say, obviously there was a few little twists and turns in there that you don't kind of expect, or I didn't expect, but then kind of when you see the final outcome of, like, it starts off, oh, that's quite a good twist, and then about a few minutes into it, I'm like, okay, that's a bit bored now. Yeah, it's great, but there's no real difference and stuff. And I don't know, I thought that, the isolated cabin in the woods type of thing worked really well. They tried to kind of do this in the building in a way, and I'm not going to say how. But I don't know. I feel like maybe this should be taken, rather than an isolated group of people and stuff, let's maybe take it on a bit of a grander scheme, involve a lot more cast members, a lot more people, and kind of have, you know, I don't know, just twist it on a head. That's what I would love to see. But by the by. So yeah, that's my review of the Evil Dead Rises. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like, comment and subscribe. Obviously the next review hopefully will be Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so it may be a week or so before I get that out, when I get to see it. But hope you enjoyed this video and you're having a nice weekend. I'm Cypher Sigma, Screen Time, and I shall see you in the next one.